From the House of Songo, this is Gaytopix, My Life. I'm your host, Kenny Cruz, and these are real-life stories, real-life confessions, real-life truths, actual events that happened to me in my lifetime. Due to the graphic nature and sensitive language of this program, viewer discretion is advised. All rights reserved, copyright 2022. Again, this is Gaytopix, My Life. I'm your host, Kenny Cruz. Remember, you're always in a mix with Gaytopix. These past few days, these past few years, these past few decades have seriously damaged my life, and my reflection is a prime example of how broken I've become. How broken I've become. It was so easy to hide because I was always stuck inside a room, or ignored, or blended in, or in some cases stuck out like a sore thumb. So I always tried to find a way to sneak my way in, so I would go unnoticed. Perhaps all of these characteristics and traits and trauma and experiences that I've had are coincidentally enough and similar enough and almost identical to those traits of someone who is about to commit a horrific crime, i.e. a serial killer or mass shooter. I hate to compare myself to that level of violence because I'm not violent in any way. But the more I have to suffer and go through this agonizing torture of a life, I may reach my breaking point pretty soon. And because there have been so many fans that lit the fire, there's going to be an explosion and a huge ripple effect of consequences and actions. I don't know how much time I have left because I am obviously dying, but given what I just said, something is going to happen soon because I don't have much time left on this planet. And the breaking point is coming. There's only but so much a person can take. I'm in so much pain. It's hard to even converse or talk or hold a proper sentence. The light is burning. I'm blind. My arm is hurting. and my image. Why is shit? Why are these things happening to me? What did I do wrong? I feel like I'm being punished for something that I did wrong, and I don't know what it is that I did wrong. To have people avoid me or hate me or not like me or associate with me or help me or support me or advocate for me or just love me. There's nobody here, and there's been nobody here for decades. I'm at a loss for words. I don't understand how this has been happening. And as I said, for so many years I tried to cover it up and be this person that everyone wanted me to be. And guess what? It worked. It worked for a while. Until the pattern of behavior by others continued. And it didn't matter how beautiful I was or how gorgeous I was or how knowledgeable or how many degrees or how many muscles or how many friends or how much experience I had. It didn't matter, because once someone made up their mind, that was it. I was kicked out of homes and forced to leave people's homes. I was forced to. I'm remembering something now, and I'm remembering being at a barbecue or a birthday party, or I think it was a baby shower. I'm not sure. But I remember having to be there for my friend Kim, and her friend was essentially my enemy. She didn't like me because I was gay, and she made that abundantly clear. Her entire family. And we've gotten into several arguments and fights. Her name was Keisha. You already know where it's going with that name. But we got into several arguments and fights and stuff, and Kim remained friends with her. And despite Kim's mother taking on that role as mom, and me moving into their home, and Kim essentially becoming my sister and I her brother, through, I guess you want to call it an oral adoption, because she didn't go through, her mother didn't go through the city or anything like that, and I was a grown man, but they were my chosen family. And Keisha was also friends with Kim, and I had to, whenever something happened, like Kim was such a bitch, but she had everything you can possibly imagine. And at this baby shower, there were over 300 people. 300 people. How do you have that many friends? And here I am with none. She had 2 cars and so much clothes and shoes and jewelry. And anyway, I'm going on a tangent. You know how much weave she put in her hair? Like she would do her hair like every week, and it would be more and more extensions. And like, God, like, where are you getting the money for this hair? You know? Anyway, so it was a baby shower, and Keisha was there, and I remember having to tell Kim at one point that how is it that I have to sit there and be in the same room with my enemy, knowing that there's this agonizing, tension and negative energy coming from her, directed toward me, as if she was trying to put me on fire or burning me with her eyes. I remember once she kicked Bill Clinton, and I was so mad, and I was like, who the fuck are you to touch my dog? And she was like, get that filthy dog out the house. I was like, wait a minute, this is not even your house. Secondly, my dog is white. There's no dirt. And I remember like her just using that as a way to get her anger out against me, But I remember Kim having to tell me that she's her friend too. And I was like, but still, like, you can at least invite me at a different time, or invite her at a different time. And, it became really uncomfortable at certain times, because she was always there. Keisha was always there. And the energy was just so hostile and so negative, and I hated, going out with Kim and living in that house. So I eventually had to leave. But that's not the reason why I actually stopped speaking to Kim. I stopped speaking to Kim. I even sent her a video too, a video message before, TikTok was even invented and all this bullshit. So I wanted her to see that I took the time to actually dedicate my message to her directly, When my mom got married, I think it was her second marriage, and I already moved out, and I was still in contact with them, which is something I never really understood either, because they never traveled to the city to see me. It was always me having to go there, and I get panic attacks whenever the train is passing the bridge to Far Rockaway, and all of these memories, start to inundate me, and I don't want to be there. I don't want to be there. But I always had to show up at her house, and mind you, she had a car. 2, but I always had to show up at her house. But when Mom got married, I noticed the difference, because they were also, like Aunt Renee did, trying to make themselves disappear slowly, and I think that's why part of the reason why I had to go to their house and they never came to my house was part of that reason, that she wanted to get rid of me. And it was made clear on my mom's wedding. And how I say it was made clear was because, number one, I was not invited. Then Kim told me about it, so that's when I confronted Mom, and Mom was like, okay, you can come, and the whole family was there, and I was part of the family because Mom was calling me her son, and Kim was calling me her brother, and her brother was calling me his bro, and stuff like that. So I'm part of the family, and I've been with the family for years. And in fact, there was a point in time where I was actually contemplating changing my last name to fit theirs. But it wasn't until this day that I knew that I was not loved. Like I said, I was not invited to the wedding. So I was not invited to the wedding. That's fine. But I ended up going anyway. And when I get there, all of the family members had corsages, the flowers that you put on the corsage, I guess. Because women wear that one here, but men wear it on their lapels. And all of the men and women had flowers, except me. Now, I wasn't invited, so I guess that's probably the reason, but still, when you knew that I was there and considered me family and loved me like family, I should have at least gotten a flower, and I didn't. And I remember having to steal one. And I did. I stole it. And I wore it throughout the wedding. And to be honest with you, it made quite a difference on the suit that I was wearing, because it made it so much better and so much more appealing and fashionable. But I knew on that day that I was not loved, and Mom wasn't really my mom, and Kim wasn't really my friend or my sister. So I sent her maybe about a year later, because I could never talk to her or engage with her because she was such a bitch. And like, we had this fight one time in Home Alone 2 when he was lost in New York, and there's a scene where the two guys, Joe Pesci and the other robber, were in a roller rink, and he put on some tape around his gloves and was stealing, items of clothing like scarves and hats and gloves from the skaters that were passing them by as they ice skated in the rink. And me and Kim had an argument about that location. That location was filmed in the movie at Woolman Rink in Central Park. But Kim disputed that and said it was at Rockefeller Center. And no matter how many times I had to press rewind and pause and just to show her, I'm like, do you see the Christmas tree? There's no Christmas tree here. You've got the wrong ice skating ring, And we got into this heated argument because she was wrong and didn't want to admit to being wrong, And then there's also, too, that she's West Indian. I have to accept the fact of their culture of being angry at the world. I don't know why West Indians are angry at the world, but they really are. But needless to say, I knew on that day that I was not part of the family, and I sent her a message because I was hesitant in doing so, and it had been some time since I hadn't heard from her. And I sent her a message, and she never replied back. I basically told her that, it's sad that all these years I don't feel loved, and I never did. I don't know how she took that or where she took that, but it obviously affected her in a way that I don't know her anymore. Like everyone else in my life, I don't know anyone. As I said, the average person, when someone would have an accident or be in an emergency crisis, they would be with them and go with them to the hospital and emergency room. or at least have someone to call in emergency. I don't have any of that, and I never did. And I don't know. What's happening to me? But there are a lot of dark thoughts, and I shouldn't say that, but the thoughts that I'm having are just memories that are resurfacing over extended periods of time. Like things are starting to fill in, and like I can remember one thing, and then maybe days later another piece of that puzzle fits, and that's the whole purpose of this series, is to see me as I am, to see me as my authentic self, to see me finally. But my image and reflection has been altered, and I'm not worth looking at anymore. I'm not even worth glancing at or crushing or noticing. It's interesting how when I was my most beautiful and in the prime of my life, I didn't feel it. I didn't accept it. No one accepted it. No one loved me. No one liked me. And yet here I am in the same position, but yet more vulnerable, because my image and reflection has been altered, and I'm old and alone. Who's gonna want you? At least then they had my beauty to ride on, like, yeah, this is my man, he's hot. I'm not hot anymore. So now it's like I would have to try extra harder to find someone to be with, as if I wasn't trying hard enough already. I'm in so much pain. Fuck. I don't know if it's the effects of the fall, because my whole body hurts. Mind you, I still have to walk the dog. No one can understand the shit that I go through. Because they're not living in my shoes. Jeez. The bench, the chairs, we can funny noises, that's not me, okay? I need to do an episode, so please, because I need to keep recording, because I want you to see what's happening to me and what's going on. But then that's me looking for people's approval yet again, and people are going to judge, I mean, I'm not going to release this, so there's really no one is going to see this, but if someone does see it, they're going to judge me and analyze me and be biased toward me, but not fully understand the actual mental stress that I'm under. Like I said, It's only but so much a person can take. God, I don't know if I can do this anymore. That's something I want to dispute too, because I need to make this clear. If you did not pay attention to the previous episode in which I stated that I did not there's so much in these damn episodes, because I tell a lot, but no one wants to stick through to see the entire episode to see what I reveal. No one's seeing anything because no one wants to see my ugly face, or listen to me talk. But if I'm going to put this to bed right now. If I am suicidal and want to harm myself, why would I go to the emergency room to fix something, an injury, when I could just bleed out and die? Why would I go to the emergency room and then, after not getting treated properly, go out to seek another emergency room visit to get treated properly? Anyone who is suicidal or having suicidal ideation would not even consider trying to save their lives. Why do you even want to think that I am in harm of myself? Like I said, they're all there just trying to fill quotas, so they're going to say and analyze me and judge me so inappropriately just to fill their quotas. Now they have something on me about the serial killer. Yes, perhaps maybe I am becoming evil, and there will be many casualties. Take that as a threat. You don't know me, so you probably will. Who are you talking to? There's nobody there. There's nobody there. And then you see that statement that I just made. Go ahead and take that as a threat. As if I want someone to take that as a threat to pay attention to me. Doesn't that speak volumes of the life that I am living? Like the shit that I'm going through? No one sees life like I do. I look through life through a different lens, and this lens now is damaged goods. Damaged goods. Scarred for life. Look at this scar. 21 stitches. I'm gonna forever be changed. At least I have these videos to show as evidence of the transition of and the actual live experience, because I've recorded these videos live, and I really do hope this series, Gaytopix, My Life, serves its purpose. And I am hoping and wishing and praying that someone will finally hear me and see me. This is Gaytopix, My Life. I'm your host, Kenny Cruz, and these are real life stories, real life confessions, real life truths, actual real events that happened to me in my lifetime. Due to the graphic nature and sensitive language and disturbing language, viewer discretion is highly advised. All rights reserved. Copyright 2022. Again, this is Gaytopix, My Life. I'm Kenny Cruz, your host. Remember, you're always in the mix with Gaytopix.